Navami. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarini. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. I welcome all the devotees for this special series of classes that we are having on the occasion of Rama Navami. So, we have been discussing Ramayana part-wise since few days. So, Ramayana begins with the first part called Balakanda. So, in the Balakanda, we see the appearance of Rama, Lakshmana, Bharata and Shatrugna, the four divine brothers. And as they grow up, one day Vishwamitra comes and requests Dasharath Maharaj to send Ram and Lakshman, to send Ram mainly for protecting his sacrifice. So, although initially Dasharath hesitated, finally he had sent Ram along with Lakshman with Vishwamitra, and Ram and Lakshman protect Vishwamitra's sacrifice, and Vishwamitra becomes very pleased and takes Ram and Lakshman to Mithila. And in Mithila, Lord Ramachandra breaks the bow of Lord Shiva, and later marriage of Sita and Ram takes place, and that's the main subject matter of Balakanda. The next part of Ramayana is Ayodhya Khanda, where Lord Ram is very pleasing to all the Ayodhya Vasis, and Dasharath Maharaj decides to coronate Lord Ramachandra. So he should be the king. People love him. But envious Manthara comes and spoils the mind of Kaikeyi, and Kaikeyi goes and asks two boons from Dasharath Maharaj, and the boons were Ram has to go for Vanavas for 14 years and Bharat has to become the king of Ayodhya. And Dasharath is obliged, and Ram agrees without any trace of disappointment. Lord Ramachandra agrees and he goes to Vanavas. So then Bharat comes to know about this, and then he goes to the forest and requests Lord Ramachandra to come back, but Ram doesn't agree, and Bharat brings the sandals of Lord Ramachandra and installs them on the throne and rules Ayodhya on behalf of Lord Ram. So that is all Ayodhya Khanda. Then Aranya Khanda, the third part of Ramayana, describes the last 1 year of the Vanavas of Ram and Sita. So Surpanaka comes and she gets attracted to Ram, and she proposes that Ram, you should marry me. But Ram doesn't agree. Then, as you know, as Surpanaka was misbehaving with Sita Devi, Lakshman intervenes and cuts the nose and ears of Surpanaka. And Surpanaka sends Khara and Dushana and 14,000 soldiers to attack Ram and Lakshman, and Ram single-handedly defeats all of them. So, thank you. Then Ram defeated all of them, and Surpanaka goes to Ravana and describes the features of Sita Devi. And Ravana comes in disguise. Ravana comes in the form of a Brahmana, a sage, begging for some food. And before he comes, he sends another demon, Maricha, in disguise as a golden deer, and Sita gets allured by the deer. Ram goes behind the deer, and Lakshman also goes behind Ram. Meanwhile, Ravana abducts Sita Devi, and Jatayu comes to protect Sita Devi, and Ravana cuts the wings of Jatayu and then takes Sita Devi to Lanka. So that is all described in the third part, Aranya Khanda. Then fourth part is Kishkinda Khanda, where Lord Ram and Lakshman go out to search for Sita Devi, and eventually they meet Jatayu, then Kabandha, then Shabari, then finally they make friendship with Sugriva, and Lord Ramachandra also helps Sugriva to regain his kingdom and wife by killing Vali, and then our Sugriva sends several of his monkey soldiers, hundreds and thousands of his monkey soldiers in 4 directions to search for Sita Devi. This is called Sitanveshana. Anveshana means searching. So devotees, means monkeys, they go in different directions, and finally the party of Angada, that includes Hanumanji, Jambavan, Nala, Neela and many other monkey chiefs, they reach the shore of ocean and they learn from Sampati that Mother Sita is there on the other side of the ocean. That's how Kanda ends. Then the 5th part of Ramayana is called Sundara Khanda, where Hanumanji goes into Lanka. First he crosses the ocean of Lanka, and while he is crossing, he encounters Mainaka mountain, Surasa, Simhika. Then after crossing and reaching Trikota mountain, he finds Lankini, who obstructs him to enter Lanka. And then somehow he overpowers her and he enters Lanka and sees the palace of Ravana, and he becomes a little reverential to see Ravana, such a majestic personality, but he became a victim of lust. And he searches everywhere, and Hanumanji gets disappointed, and finally Hanumanji finds Sita Devi in Ashoka Vatika. There he enters a conversation with Sita Devi, and he also sees Sita Devi just neglecting Ravana, and Ravana is pleading Sita Devi. And finally Hanumanji consoles Sita and tries to do some mischief in destroying some trees and the garden of Ravana. Then finally Ravana's soldiers capture Hanumanji and then bring him to the darbar of Ravana, and Ravana says, okay, kill him. Then somehow Vibhishan intervenes and says, oh, you should not kill him. Okay, then fine, you set fire to his tail. Then Hanumanji burns the entire Lanka, and he comes back to Ram and gives him the message. So that's how Sundara Khanda ends. Then the 6th part is Yudhakanda. So Ram, along with hundreds and thousands of Vanaras, goes on the shore of the ocean, and he builds a bridge across the ocean with stones, floating stones. And in an elaborate fight, very elaborate fight with Ravana and his party, Ram defeats Ravana and regains Sita Devi and goes back to Ayodhya, and the Pattabhishekam happens. Ram is again coronated as the king of Ayodhya. That's how Ramayana ends. So these are the 6 parts of Ramayana, and we have been discussing Ramayana last few days, and we completed Kishkinda Khanda. So today we'll be elaborately discussing Sundara Khanda. So Sundara Khanda is considered the most beautiful part of Ramayana. So what is so beautiful about Sundara Khanda? Ram is lamenting in separation from Sita. Sita is lamenting in separation from Ram. And tears were there. And while searching for Sita Devi, all the soldiers who went in multiple directions, they failed. They were in anxiety, they were in fear. And even Hanumanji's party that went towards the south, they also became quite despondent. Although they came to know that Sita is there on the other side of the ocean, they didn't have means to cross. So that's how Sundara Khanda begins. Yesterday we have seen Ajit Mukund Prabhu describing this. So what is so sundar about Sundara Khanda? So everybody is in lamentation, tragedy. But Acharyas say, Sundare Sundaro Ramaha, Sundare Sundari Sita, Sundare Sundaro Kapihi, Sundare Kimna Sundaram. So Lord Ramachandra is Sundar, very beautiful. Sita Devi Sundari, she is so beautiful. And Hanumanji, the Vanara hero, he is so beautiful. Sundare Kimna Sundaram, what is not Sundari in Sundarakanda? You tell us. In the 10th canto, 8th chapter, Acharyas quote this line, Sundare Kimna Sundaram, in Bhagavatam commentaries, Ramayana line in Bhagavatam commentaries. Okay, Sundare Kimna Sundaram. So our Krishna, in the 10th canto, 8th chapter, Bhagavatam, Sukadeva Goswami describes the childhood pastimes of Krishna. So Krishna is crawling, Balramji is crawling, and all the mud mixed with vrajadhuli mixed with cow dung and cow urine that goes on all over the face and body of little boys, Krishna and Balaram. And they come back to their mothers, smiling. Okay, as if they have done a big project, accomplished something great. So they just made themselves dirty. But still, Mother Rohini and Mother Yashoda, they just pick up these boys, their individual sons, and embrace them and give them their milk. So although their forms are smeared with cow dung and cow urine and dust, still they look so beautiful. Sundare kimna sundaram. For a beautiful person, anything is sundar. So, pankanga raga ruchira vrajakartameshu. So, pankanga raga means angarag. People put some cosmetics and ointments on their faces, right? Here, panka angaraga. Panka is kichad. It's mud. So, they have smeared the cosmetics of vrajadhuli on their faces. They look so beautiful. In that context, Acharyas quote this. Sundare kimna sundaram. Everything in Sundara Khanda is sundar. Similarly, everything about Krishna is also sundar. Little Krishna rasa in Rama rasa. So let's come back to Sundara Khanda. So Sundara Khanda is so beautiful. Okay, although there is a lot of lamentation and tragedy, still Sundara Khanda is a section which is like a turning point in Ramayana where there is a lot of hope. So Ram was lamenting for Sita and Sita was lamenting for Lord Ramachandra. And they both were in great separation from each other. So Hanumanji brings a lot of hope in the life of Sita Devi, in the life of Ram also. So that hope in a situation of tragedy makes Sundara Khanda so sundar, so beautiful. So even in the beginning of Sundara Khanda we see that all the monkeys were despondent. Sampati told the monkeys that, okay, I saw Ravana abducting Sita Devi and taking her across the Lanka ocean. So, but people are saying that I can cross 10 yojanas, then 20 yojanas, 30 yojanas, I can just cross 100 yojanas and reach the other side also of the ocean, but I cannot come back, Amagada says. So like the different Vanaras are saying that we cannot accomplish this task. And Hanumanji forgot his powers. Everybody is just morose. They have no hope. Then suddenly Jambavan comes and says, Hanumanji, you are there. We'll discuss it in detail. So Hanumanji gives hope to all the despondent Vanaras. That's one hope. And Hanumanji gives hope to Sita Devi after he goes there. Hanumanji makes the Rakshasas hopeless. Okay, just one Vanara came to this Lanka and created so much of havoc there, destroyed Ashoka Vatika, the favorite garden of Ravana, and burnt entire Lanka. What can be more hopeless situation? So he creates a hopeless situation for the demons and he gives hope to Lord Ramachandra. That's how Sundara Khanda ends. Hope for righteous people, virtuous people, and hopelessness for vicious people. That makes Sundara Khanda so beautiful. Okay. So now let's see. Sundara Khanda is basically a transition from tragedy to hope. And that transition is brought about by the Lord's greatest devotee, Hanumanji, the exemplary devotee in Dasya Rasa. So, Hanumanji is the most trusted servant of Lord Ramachandra. Although Lord Ramachandra had sent monkeys in all four directions, and in each direction hundreds and thousands of monkeys travelled to search for Sita Devi, but Ram gave that ring only to Hanumanji, no one else. He could have given that ring to anyone. Nala, Neela, Angada, Jambavan, and many other monkey chiefs are there. I don't know the names, I don't remember the names now. They went in different directions. He did not choose anyone to give the ring. If at all Sita has to be found, it can be accomplished only by Hanumanji. That Ram was confident, and even before Ram, Sugriva was confident. Sugriva had millions of monkeys in his army, but Sugriva's full confidence is on Hanumanji only. Seeing Sugriva's confidence, Ram also became confident. Of course, on a spiritual plane, Ram is the eternal master of Hanumanji and Hanumanji is the eternal servant of Ram. In that sense, Ram knows, but in this pastime, Sugriva identifies Hanumanji as the most capable person to search for Sita Devi, right? Most trusted servant. So Ram noticed Hanumanji's glories in the right in the first meeting. So when Ram and Lakshman were wandering in the forests and they came to Rishyamukha mountain searching for Sita Devi, and Hanumanji sees from a distance. Sugriva sees from a distance. Because Sugriva is hiding in Rishyamukha mountain out of fear of Vali. So he sees two young boys, young princes are coming that side. So Sugriva becomes little fearful. Because Vali cannot come to Rishyamukha mountain, probably he had sent these two young princes, human beings, human princes, to attack me. So Hanumanji, please go and find out who are they. Then Hanumanji comes in the form of a Brahmana and then interacts with Ram and Lakshman, and Ram immediately recognizes, you are Hanuman, I know you. So then Hanumanji becomes very much surprised, and Hanumanji identifies, you are my eternal master. One who recognizes me like this is my eternal master. There are many more details. So Hanumanji's glories are recognized by Ramachandra right in the first meeting. So Sugriva also had sent Hanumanji towards south. So the most probable direction where Sita can be found is the southern direction. Okay. So Sugriva had selected the best of his soldiers along with Hanumanji to go to the southern direction. So he had sent Hanumanji to the most probable direction, and he trusted that within this entire troop Hanumanji will be finding out. Okay. So Ram gave his ring and Sita gave her ring, we'll see. And even in the war, in the Yudhakanda, when Lakshman faints because of the arrows of Meghanatha, it was Hanumanji who protects Lakshman. And it was Hanumanji who also brings the Sanjeevani mountain to save Lakshman, who is like the life of Lord Ramachandra. So like that, Hanumanji's service is unlimited. Hanumanji is the best servant of the Lord. So yavat Rama kathe veera charishyasi mahitale tavat sharire vasyanti prana mama na samshayaha. As long as Rama katha is going on this planet, as long as people are discussing the glories of Lord Ramachandra, Hanumanji stays there to hear Rama katha. Okay, we are discussing Ramayana, right? Hanumanji must be somewhere here to hear Rama katha. So that is the glory of Hanumanji. Hanumanji's kirti is unlimited, and Hanumanji is the most non-controversial personality. No one has anything against Hanumanji, either children or elders or men or women or whoever it is. Everybody loves Hanumanji. Okay, so Hanumanji carries Lord Ramachandra within his heart. That is his speciality. So now that Hanumanji is the hero of Sundara Khanda. Very beautiful thing to identify here. So Hanumanji plays the major role in Sundara Khanda. Although Ramayana has so many parts, and in all these parts Ram is prominent, Sundara Khanda, which is the most beautiful part of Ramayana, has Hanumanji as the best part. Hanumanji as the prominent part. He has the maximum role. So Ram is just in Kishkinda, just in separation from Sita, lamenting. So entire Sundara Khanda, Hanumanji is the hero. So Hanumanji is the hero of Sundara Khanda, not other characters, including Lord Ramachandra. So this is how Lord glorifies his devotees. Prabhave sarvasatvatam means the Lord takes great pleasure in expanding the glories of his devotees. When his devotees are glorified, when the devotees take more prominent roles and devotees are praised by people in this world, Lord becomes very happy. So, Krishna manifested so many pastimes, but in the very crucial pastime of Kurukshetra war, Krishna took a back seat. Krishna took a low profile. He became the driver of Arjuna. Arjuna, you become the hero. You defeat Bhishma, Drona, Karna and all the chief warriors. Bhima, you become the hero. You kill all the 100 sons of Dhritarashtra. I will just sit as a driver and an advisor. That's all I will do. So, the Lord takes great pleasure in glorifying his devotees. Even in the case of 7th canto of Bhagavatam, Narasimhadev is the prominent avatar described in 7th canto, and that comes in about 10 chapters. But how long Narasimhadev is there in the 7th canto? It's all Prahlad's story. So, right from beginning of 7th canto till 10th chapter, Prahlad is discussed throughout. But only in the middle of 8th chapter, our Narasimhadeva manifests from the pillar and kills Hiranyakashipu, and then he sits there. And 9th chapter also is there, but just Prahalad is offering prayers, 43 prayers he offers, and Narasimhadeva is sitting and hearing. So Narasimhadeva has very little role in the 7th canto. Prahalad has the maximum role. His teachings, his prayers and his pastimes, his consciousness. So he is described more. So Bhagavatam is a combination of the pastimes of the Lord and his devotees, but the Lord likes his devotees to be more glorified than himself. So the devotees are as prominent as the Lord within Bhagavatam, in fact more prominent than the Lord also at times. So the stories of devotees are more prominently discussed in Bhagavatam. Of course the Lord is also described, but the Lord willingly takes a low profile, back seat to glorify his devotees. So in the best part of Ramayana, the most exciting part of Ramayana, so Hanumanji is the hero, Ram is taking a back seat. Okay. So now how does it begin? Seeing the extent of the sea, all the Vanaras became very despondent. So the sea is so fathomless, so deep, so vast. So someone said 100 yojanas. How can you cross over 100 yojanas? So monkeys don't fly, monkeys jump. If it is a bird, bird can fly like this and then go on the other shore if it has the capacity. Okay. But monkeys don't fly, they don't have wings, they jump. No, this is one jump. So one jump, one leap from this shore of the ocean to that shore of the ocean. It's not, it's unimaginable. So Hanumanji has to jump. And all the other monkeys were feeling so despondent, they were feeling hopeless. Then Hanumanji also is feeling hopeless along with other people. They are feeling hopeless, I will also feel hopeless. Along with other Vanaras, he is sitting idly and he is also thinking deeply because he forgot his powers. Then Jambavan said, my dear Hanumanji, why are you keeping quiet? You are the most empowered personality. You are so great, you are so good. Your power is fathomless. So please, you can jump, you do it. Now Jambavan is a very elderly person there. He is like a very experienced military general in the army of Angada. Angada was the prince, son of Vali. He was leading the whole army, but he is very young. So Jambavan is more experienced, Hanumanji is definitely more experienced. So Jambavan came and empowered Hanumanji by reminding him of his powers. If you praise a person, if you appreciate a person, not an undue glorification, not a exaggerated praise, but genuinely if you appreciate another person and encourage that person, that's a very good and important leadership quality. So we can either discourage people or encourage people. Two options. Okay. Of course one can remain neutral also. But here Jambavan came forward and reminded Hanumanji of his powers. You can do it. Okay. So then Hanumanji understood that yes, I can do it. And he expanded his size, bigger and bigger, bigger and bigger. So if someone speaks very harsh words and sharp words unnecessarily, of course some chastisement is needed. You see, Krishna chastised Arjuna. Klaibyam masmagamaha partha naitatvai upapadyate kshudram hridaya daurbalyam tyaktva uttishta parantapa. He said, where has this impotency has come in your mind at the crucial time of war? Give up this impotency, get up and fight. So like that Krishna chastised. So sometimes chastisement is needed and it has its role. But on the other hand, some kind of appreciation, good words, kind words, encouraging words are also needed to wake up the innate potential in people, right? So one should not unnecessarily discourage people, but one should try to encourage them by reminding them of what their capacity is, what they can do. So here Jambavan is setting a very good example. He's actually playing the role of a guru by reminding the powers of Hanumanji, and without Jambavan reminding the powers, Hanumanji was just keeping quiet. So we glorify Hanumanji a lot as the hero of Sundara Khanda, but who made him the hero? Jambavan. Without Jambavan's counseling or Jambavan's encouragement and some praising words, definitely Hanumanji would not have done this. So credit goes to Jambavanji also. So the leaders are supposed to empower people. So then our Hanumanji became so huge, very big. So here he said, Ramarthan Vanararthancha Chikirshan Karma Dushkaram Samudrasya Paran Paran Dushparan Praptumichati. Ramarthan, for the service of Lord Ramachandra. Vanararthan, to encourage all the Vanaras. Chikirshan Karma Dushkaram. I am going to take up this very difficult task. So crossing over the ocean itself is a difficult task. Once you cross this ocean and enter Lanka alone, what's going to happen? There are millions of Rakshasas led by this Ravana. So one monkey goes alone on the other side. Even if Hanumanji happens to cross this ocean, there is another risk waiting for him. Crossing the ocean itself is a risk. After crossing the ocean, there is a bigger risk, isn't it? So Hanumanji is ready for all these risks in the service of Lord Ramachandra, in the service of all the Vanaras. So Ramarthan Vanararthan Chakirsham Karma Dushkaram. Karma Dushkaram is a very difficult task. By the power of the Lord, by the mercy of the Lord, by the blessings of the Lord, I can do this. So Samudrasya Paran Param Dushparan Praptumichati. So he says, so Hanumanji boasts about himself. He offers obeisances to Lord Ramachandra. He offers obeisances to some devatas also, right? Seeking their blessings. Oh Brahma, please empower me. Oh Vishnu, please empower me. So he offers, Vayudev, please empower me. He says that. He offers obeisances. He seeks their blessings. At the same time, he boasts also. Yes, I can do this. All the Vanaras are despondent. They were feeling so disappointed. And Hanumanji says, don't worry. I can cross over this Lanka ocean. I can destroy Ravana. I can defeat them. I can find out the secrets of their military army. I can do this. I can do that. He was boasting a lot. So the same Hanumanji who boasted on this side of the ocean, he took a low profile on the other side of the ocean. We'll discuss it. Maybe after half an hour we'll come to that moment. But I'll just briefly say that now. Sita Devi, after seeing Hanumanji, she said, somehow you managed to come here. Will all the monkeys cross the ocean like you and then come here? Will Ram be able to manage? Will Lakshman come here? You know what Hanumanji said? He said that, Mother Sita, don't worry. All the monkeys in the army of Sugriva are either equal to me in power or better than me in power. So we can easily cross the Lanka ocean, don't worry. So there he took a low profile. He presented himself very humbly. I am the very weakest Vanara in Sugriva's army. Who will be sent as a messenger? Someone who is very weak is sent, right? So I came like a messenger. I am a Duta. So I am not so powerful. Everyone is equally powerful to me or greater than me. So like that he took a very low profile. But here he is boasting so much. So on one side of the ocean he is boasting about himself. I can do this, I can do that. On the other side of the ocean he is taking a low profile. So is Hanumanji being inconsistent in his speech? Is he not being truthful? The point is, Hanumanji is doing the needful to encourage the devotees. So do the needful to encourage the devotees. So here all the monkeys were despondent. They were feeling so morose, disappointed, dejected. To encourage them, Hanumanji boasted. So that kind of boasting and reassuring was needed to encourage them. There Sita Devi was despondent. To encourage her, to give hope to her, Hanumanji took a low profile. Hanumanji presented himself very lowly. So Hanumanji is not being conscious of whether I am powerful or not powerful. He is conscious of the emotions of other devotees. Hanumanji's agenda in boasting about himself is not self-aggrandizement. Hanumanji's purpose in boasting about himself is to encourage the Vanaras. There Hanumanji is taking low profile there in front of Sita Devi is not an inferiority complex or being artificially modest. But Hanumanji is encouraging Sita Devi. So understanding the emotions of other devotees and speaking and acting appropriately as it is needed for the situation is what Hanumanji is exemplifying here. And he's neither interested in boasting or not interested in just demeaning himself, right? So Hanumanji offered obeisances and he boasted and then he started moving ahead. Yatha Raghava Nirmuktah Sharaha Swasana Vikramaha Gachet Tadvad Gamishyami Lankan Ravana Palitam. Yatha Raghava Nirmuktah Sharaha Swasana Vikramaha. So Raghava Nirmuktah means the arrow released by Lord Ramachandra will not return back. So Ramaban has no obstacle in this entire creation. When Ram releases an arrow, it has to reach the target. So Hanumanji compared himself as Ramaban. Okay. So now even in boasting also, he is identifying himself as a servant of the Lord. Not he's highlighting his connection with the Lord rather than presenting his independent glories. Right? Yatha Raghava Nirmuktaha. I am an instrument in the Lord's hand. So Hanumanji was just jumping across the ocean. So as he was just moving like this, then Mainaka mountain came there. So Indra kept this Mainaka mountain in the middle of the ocean so that the Mainaka mountain can block all the residents of the lower planets to come up to the earth. So it was used like a blocking agent. So but somehow this Mainaka came out just to offer some hospitality to our Hanumanji. Hanumanji, you are jumping across 100 yojanas, so if you can just stop here, take some rest, take a pause, and then you continue your jump. So jump will become little smaller jump, right? Long jump and short jump. So it can become smaller. So Mainaka, with a pure intention, he came out of the water and requested Hanumanji to take some rest. So when you have less time, when you are on a great mission, no intention to take any comforts. So if you relax, okay, let me just take some rest. Some rest is needed, but when you are chasing a deadline, when you are completing a task, so that resting could be a distraction. Okay, Hanumanji did not want to take rest. Okay, so now he was not being overconfident also. Anyways, I have come half the way, so let me take rest now. So he was not being overconfident also. Just like that rabbit and tortoise, they had this competition, right? So rabbit rested for a while. So but Hanumanji did not rest. So he politely said no. He acknowledged. He touched Mainaka. When someone is like showing some kind of gesture to you and wants to help you in some way, you may not be interested in that help, but your rejection or your refusal should not be harsh. It can be polite also. Yes, I am going on a big mission, so I don't have time. I really honor your hospitality. Thank you very much. So he just moved ahead. So as Hanumanji moved ahead, some celestial sages and celestial devatas, they wanted to test Hanumanji. Okay, they wanted to test the determination of Hanumanji. So they went to the mother of Nagas, her name is Surasa, and told her, you should test him. Okay. So then Surasa came out. Surasa opened her mouth. Okay. And Hanumanji was moving ahead and Surasa just blocked his way and opened her mouth very wide and said, you should enter my mouth. Hanumanji, hey, I need to move ahead. But Surasa just opened her mouth wide and said, Brahmaji has given a benediction that whoever comes on my way must enter my mouth. So Hanumanji said, no, I don't have time now. But you said that Brahma has given you this benediction. I honor that benediction. But after I complete my mission, I will come back and enter your mouth. But Surasa says, no, now you have to enter. So Surasa opened her mouth so wide and Hanumanji expanded his size to 10 yojanas. Okay. Surasa opened her mouth to 20 yojanas. Hanumanji also expanded his size to 20 yojanas, then 20, 30, 40, 50, 100. Now 100 yojanas is the width of the ocean. I didn't understand. 100 yojanas is the width of the ocean. Hanumanji can expand to 100 yojanas. He need not even jump also. He can just walk. What is it? Samasritaye padapallava plavam mahat padam punyesho murare bhavambudhir vatsa padam param padam. So ocean can become very small for him. He can just cross. But anyways, let's not analyze now. Let's discuss the pastime the way it is presented. So Hanumanji just opened his mouth. Surasa opened his mouth and Hanumanji expanded his size so huge. Then Surasa also is opening her mouth so wide, and Hanumanji suddenly, within a fraction of a second, he became so small like a cat, and he entered the mouth of Surasa and immediately came out of the mouth of Surasa and said, see, Brahmaji gave you benediction that whoever comes on your way should enter your mouth. I entered your mouth and I came out also. Now you leave me. So seeing this clever timing of Hanumanji, he is so spontaneous. See, one may be very intelligent and clever, but when one does not apply that intelligence at the right time, then it's like somebody goes for an interview. Interview is 15 minutes. So he may know all the answers, but in that 15 minutes, if he doesn't remember it, he will not get the job, isn't it? Similarly, one may be very intelligent and very smart, but that has to be applied at the right time. So Hanumanji just entered the mouth of Surasa and came out, and Surasa became so impressed with the intelligence. Buddhiman, Hanumanji. Hanumanji is Buddhiman. So I'm very impressed with you. I give you all blessings. I just came to test you. He passed the test. Actually, he did not just pass the test, he impressed me a lot. So I give you all blessings to cross over this ocean and find Sita Devi and render great service to Lord Ramachandra. Now, Hanumanji exhibited humility. See, if Surasa can open her mouth wide, Hanumanji can expand his size also, wider. So Hanumanji did not get into the momentary competition. Okay. So at this moment, I need to prove myself better than Surasa. So there is a competition. How wide Surasa can open her mouth, how huge Hanumanji can become. There is a competition here. So if one is absorbed in this competition here, and if one's intention is just to prove oneself better than the other party, then the bigger mission is forgotten. Hanumanji did not forget his main mission. Sometimes while rendering service to the Lord also, when two people who are rendering service, they get into some kind of difference of opinion or some kind of argument or some discussion, and if they get too absorbed in the discussion and argument and forgets the original service itself, right? Considering my point should be better, my point should be accepted, whatever I say should be final. When one gets into that kind of egoistic considerations, then service suffers. The Lord's service suffers. So we need to understand what is the purpose of our discussions, what is the purpose of all these arguments and all. So while doing service, we should not just so caught up in the temporary either arguments or fights or quarrels or the urge to prove oneself right, the urge to establish one's point, urge to supersede other persons or outsmart other persons, that has to be kept aside. That should not be the motive of a devotee. So devotee renders service to the Lord. Service is the priority. Whatever is needed for the service, one will do. If the proving your point is really needed for the service, okay, fine. You may say this is the way it has to be done. But if that is not needed, you are just trying to prove the point right, prove yourself right, and just prove yourself greater than the other person, and then service suffers, then what's the point? So Hanumanji did not get into any egoistic competition to establish his greatness in comparison to Surasa. If you can open your mouth wide, I can expand myself also. He did that to tempt her, to provoke her, but immediately he took a humble profile. And he honored the benediction of Brahmaji also. So in the heat of argument, sometimes we may lose respect for the other person. One may speak sometimes in a disrespectful manner. It happens sometimes. So just like Daksha, in his attempt to establish his superiority over Shiva, and while insulting Shiva, he even disrespected Brahma also. This Parameshti suggested me. So he called him Parameshti, first point. Secondly, he minimized the greatness of his suggestion also. He gave me this wrong advice. He told me to give my fawn-eyed daughter to this monkey-eyed rascal. Okay. See, the words that he used also are very graphic. So he offended two people, Brahma and Shiva, simultaneously. So Hanumanji, an expansion of Shiva, is also showing some humility. So another demoness, Simhika. So as Hanumanji was moving ahead with the blessings of Surasa, one demoness named Simhika grabbed to his shadow, and Hanumanji was unable to move. So they have some mystic powers by which they grab onto someone's shadow and they will not allow the person to move. So Hanumanji was unable to move ahead. What happened? Did I become so tired? I did not even cross the ocean. There's a lot of activity pending after I crossed the ocean. So am I becoming so weak now? Hanumanji felt some depletion in his energy, and when he looked back, he saw this Simhika there. Okay. So now Simhika did not come to test Hanumanji. So Hanumanji understood that Simhika is just enviously obstructing him. Simhika did not quote Brahma. So Brahma gave me a benediction. Like whichever shadow I see, I can grab onto that shadow. You have to just come back. So she did not quote anyone. She is just enviously obstructing Hanumanji. Hanumanji immediately entered her heart and then broke open her body and then came out, basically killed her. So sometimes when a devotee is sincerely rendering service to the Lord, envious people obstruct the service. So that envy has to be destroyed. Okay, so where to show sensitivity, where to be shrewd, we need to understand also. So here Hanumanji showed a lot of sensitivity towards the situation of Surasa, because Surasa quoted Brahmaji and then he did not get into any egoistic competition. But here, out of sheer envy, she is just obstructing Hanumanji. Hanumanji, no negotiations, just killed her. So one has to destroy envy. If that envy, like you see, Prithu Maharaj, out of sheer envy, he came to destroy the sacrifice of Prithu Maharaj. Prithu Maharaj picked up a bow to fight with him, but somehow Brahmaji intervened and told. He intervened in such a way that there is a transformation in the heart of Indra, and Indra is not rejected. Indra is reformed by the intervention of our Brahmaji. So sometimes the switch for a light in this room may be in the next room. Okay, if Brahmaji has gone to Indra for a negotiation, for counseling session, Indra may not listen. He is very stubborn. He is very obstinate. So Brahma decided to stop Indra by stopping Prithu, and Prithu being mature enough to understand Brahma's intention, he stopped, and Indra also stopped. Right? Some people get into competitive mentality. So without rejecting them, one can reform them also in different circumstances. Anyways, coming back to Hanumanji's thing. So Hanumanji just killed Simhika because she is just obstructing her out of envy. So Hanumanji is that way, he just crossed this mountain, crossed this Lanka ocean, and he came to the Trikuta mountain. So from that mountain he saw Lanka. Lanka is very magnificent golden city. So although Valmiki says, although Hanumanji jumped across this ocean of 100 yojanas, he did not feel tired at all. Right? So not only that, on the way he encountered some obstacles also, still he did not feel tired. So similarly, when a devotee renders devotional service to Krishna, although there may be so many obstacles, so many anarthas bothering a person, distractions, or demotivating comments, still a devotee's enthusiasm in rendering service to the Lord is not dampened. Okay, so here Hanumanji crossed this Lanka ocean. He did not feel tired. He did not feel exhausted. He had the same enthu levels. Oh my God, somehow I came here. Let me take rest for a few days. No, he is ready for action. He is ready for the next service, next phase of service of exploring Lanka to find Sita Devi, despite of so many obstacles there. So similarly, when we do devotional service with the right intent, although physical body may get exhausted, the internal consciousness or the mind or the heart will not get exhausted. So the enthusiasm to continue devotional service will remain. Okay. So although one may be tired physically, but okay, ready for the next service. Okay. I'll take little rest, ready for the next service. So physical exhaustion, it's not in our hands, but internally one should not get exhausted. Okay. So Hanumanji is continuing on with his great enthusiasm to serve. So then he came to the main gate of Lanka. Then he saw a demoness, Lankini. All female demons are attacking him, I don't know, somehow. So Lankini came to stop Hanumanji. So Hanumanji first, although he was so huge, he reduced to the size of a cat. He's very calmly, softly, he's just moving. And he saw Lankini, and Lankini said, "Oh, you cannot enter this Lanka without my permission. I am the doorkeeper here." So then there was some argument happened, and Hanumanji took his fist and punched on Lankini, and Lankini just fell down. So then Lankini said, "Brahmaji told me," again Brahma, she is quoting Brahma. So Brahma told me that when I am overpowered by a monkey, that's the beginning of the destruction of Lanka city and the king of Lanka. So you have all my blessings, you can render service to Lord Ramachandra, no problem. So I understood that Ravana cannot survive anymore. It's the beginning of his destruction. So then Hanumanji enters Ravana's palace. He reached somewhere in the evening time. So people are preparing for their sleep and for their evening phase of sense gratification. Okay. So they were all the paricharikas, means all the servant maids are carrying so much of paraphernalia and are entering Ravana's palace. And Hanumanji in the size of a small monkey, baby monkey, size of a small cat, he's just hiding here and there in the palace on the pillars and then trying to observe what's happening there. He saw so many beautiful women, Rakshasi Strees, and some hideous Rakshasas also. See, he explored Ravana's palace so much. And Ravana's palace was 8 miles long. Not the road. Palace itself was 8 miles long. And he also saw Pushpaka chariot that Ravana just stole from Kuvera. So Hanumanji went on that Pushpaka chariot, and Valmiki describes very elaborately how that Pushpaka chariot looked like. It has some artificial lotuses and some elephants throwing some water. So many things were there. So he saw, and from top of that Pushpaka chariot, he saw beautiful women. And he's exploring and keenly observing, because Lord Ramachandra has also described the features of Sita Devi, along with giving his ring to Hanumanji. So Ram also described the delicate features of Sita Devi, and Hanumanji had that mind. He did not have a photo in his smartphone searching, okay, where is Sita? Face recognition. He did not have all those facilities. So its description is there in the mind. He is searching for the woman whose features match the description of Lord Ramachandra. Then he felt that I am a brahmachari and I am seeing so many women very observantly, observing their features. Is it proper? What will happen to me? Then Hanumanji reconciled. No, I am doing service to Lord Ramachandra. So it's the motive that determines if an activity is virtuous or sinful. So he continued. So he searched the entire palace. He did not find Sita Devi. He did not find any woman manifesting Sita Devi's feminine features, divine features. So as he moved ahead, he found Ravana. Very majestic personality. As soon as he saw Ravana, Hanumanji became a little respectful, reverential. Such a wonderful personality. And Ravana had so many cuts on his body at different places. So these cuts on his body represent that he has fought with so many demons, or so many people, right? So on the body of a Kshatriya, on the body of a warrior, when there are some wounds, those wounds represent how courageous he is, how powerful he is. So he saw Ravana. For a moment he felt little reverential, but he also felt pity. My God, he looks so effulgent, so powerful, but he was so lusty. So then so many women were there. They had some dancing and singing and music, and they were in different states of undress. They are lying all over the place. They were intoxicated. They even drank wine. And little apart from all these ladies, there is one lady who looked very sober, decent, dignified, presentable, and she is little away from all of them. She is very effulgent. That is the effulgence of her pativrata dharma. She is such a chaste wife of Ravana, Ramandodari. And seeing that, and she was just right next to Ravana. So seeing her, Hanumanji thought, oh, this must be Sita Devi. Okay. So anyone in this entire assembly who had features little closer to Sita Devi was Mandodari. So she was a chaste woman. So he thought that I found Sita Devi. I found Sita Devi. Very good, very good. And he started jumping up and down as it is natural for a monkey, happy monkey, to jump up and down. He started kissing his tail. He was just jumping in joy, so that I finally found Sita Devi. I can inform Lord Ramachandra. And after some time, he thought, how can Sita Devi be in the palace of Ravana, sitting so close, lying down so close to Ravana, in the inner chambers of his palace? Definitely she is not Sita. Na Ramena viyukta sa swapnum arhati bhamini na bhoktum na pyalankartum na panam upasevati. Na Ramena viyukta, without Lord Ramachandra, sa swapnum arhati bhamini, she doesn't sleep also. Here Mandodari is found sleeping. Okay. Na bhoktum, she doesn't eat. Na pyalankartum, she doesn't decorate herself. Mandodari is fully decorated with all ornaments. Right? So, na bhoktum, na pyalankartum, na panam upasevati. She doesn't even drink water. So, without Lord Ramachandra. So, definitely she is not Sita. She is someone else. But she looks a very divine lady. She offered obeisances. Hanumanji offered obeisances, and he moved ahead in her search. And so many speculations. Although I searched everywhere in Ravana's palace, I didn't find. So Hanumanji started speculating. So if I go back on the other shore, monkeys will die. Monkeys are waiting for me, standing on one leg. When will Hanumanji come? I boasted a lot. I gave a lot of hope to them. So what will happen? So he thought that if I go and give this news that I did not find Sita Devi to the monkeys, monkeys will die. Angada will die. And this news will reach Sugriva. Sugriva will die in shame that he could not help Lord Ramachandra. Then Ram will die. Lakshman will die. And hearing this news, in Ayodhya, Bharat and Shatrughna will die. And all the Ayodhya Vasis will die. Okay. So better I die now. Instead of being the cause of so many deaths, I will commit suicide now, I will only die. So he thought like that. But later he felt, no, I should have unwavering determination. I should not be unnecessarily demotivated or discouraged, dejected, devastated. So let me just move ahead. So he went outside. I searched in one palace only. Of course, that's an 8-mile long palace, not a small palace. So there is a much more space in Lanka. Let me explore all over the country. Maybe he must have kept her somewhere else. So he went outside and somehow he entered a garden. In that garden, it was early in the morning. He saw a nice lake. So it was in Brahma Muhurta time. So Hanumanji went on a tree, Sumshupa tree, and from that tree he started seeing the lake. Maybe Sita Devi might come here to do her early morning duties. She may come to this lake. So with that intention, he was waiting on the tree, watching that lake. So then he was looking here and there, and he saw one lady who was dressed like an ascetic, one cloth, and her cloth was so dirty. She looks so effulgent and brilliant, but very fragile, very weak. She's like fire covered by smoke, right? So she was looking very weak, fragile, and she also appeared very sad, morose. She was sitting under a tree, Ashoka tree. So Hanumanji went closer. So he recollected all the descriptions of Sita Devi given by Lord Ramachandra, and he found some of those features in this lady. So as he started observing her more and more closely, he found that she must be Sita, but he did not have confirmation. So he was thinking, very keenly he was thinking, how should I confirm this? Should I go in front of Sita Devi and then introduce myself as servant or Duta, messenger of Lord Ram? Or should I wait for a while? He was just thinking like that. Meanwhile, Ravana came. Now throughout the night, Hanumanji was searching only. Ravana completed his sleep, got up from his sleep, and he came there along with some other ladies, some of his queens, especially Mandodari. He came there, 10-headed Ravana came there, and that is his morning program. So Ravana's morning program is every day, Brahma Muhurta time, he would come in front of Sita Devi and say, Sita, when will you become my queen? So I will give you the position of my prominent queen, Pattamahishi, and I will reject all other queens, like Mandodari also I will reject, I will give you her position. So he keeps pleading her to submit. So just imagine, for a chaste woman, even to come in front of another man is such an uncomfortable situation. But here she is held captive in Lanka, surrounded by so many demonesses, and here this lusty man is coming every single day and pleading her, when will you submit to me? And he also kind of speaks in a very vulgar manner, right? For Sita Devi it's a very excruciatingly painful experience, but she is always Ram conscious. So Sita Devi sits there and she keeps one blade of grass in front of her, just indicating that, Ravana, you are as insignificant as this blade of grass to me. Okay, you are no better than a blade of grass. So like a coward, you have come to kidnap me when my husband is not there. What kind of warrior you are? So he was shamelessly, see, if somebody says like that, what kind of warrior you are, Ravana would have chopped his head off. But because he is very lusty towards Sita Devi, so Ravana was tolerating all her chastisement as if she was praising, right? Tolerating and keeping quiet. But at one moment, Ravana became very furious. So he threatened her. If you don't submit to me, already I waited for 10 months, I am giving you 2 more months time. If you don't submit to me, if you don't become my queen, I will have all my demon soldiers to cut you into small pieces and have your flesh for my breakfast. So Sita Devi just tolerated. She just kept quiet, hiding herself with her cloth. And then Mandodari came there. Mandodari, hey Ravana, please don't become so excited. So don't chastise her. Okay, other people will console her. So Mandodari just took Ravana away by speaking some sweet words. Okay, why are you unnecessarily pleading her? We are there to give you enjoyment. So Ravana gave a warning to all the demonesses. They told, he told them that you somehow convince her, speak some Ravana Katha to her, okay, speak my glories. Somehow you should mellow her down, somehow you should speak my glories to her and then somehow induce some attraction in her mind towards me. Then all the demonesses took up this project. Yes, our master, yes, our dear master. And Ravana went away and Hanumanji is looking from there. Hanumanji is also burning in anger. My God, this is how this fellow is treating Sita Devi. He would have killed him, but Hanumanji just was soberly waiting for an opportune moment to console Sita Devi first. Okay. So all the Rakshasis came. After Ravana left, Rakshasis came and they started bothering Sita Devi. They started speaking so many glories of Ravana, and they started threatening her. Then finally she says, no, I will not submit. Then the Rakshasis said, okay, then before Ravana takes you as breakfast, I will have you as my breakfast. I have not eaten human flesh since long time. I will eat your hand, I will eat your leg, I will eat your cheeks, I will eat your thighs. Like that they were very, they were threatening Sita Devi, and she could not tolerate all this and she broke down into tears. So meanwhile, one demoness named Trijata came there. So Trijata just got up from her sleep and she came and she told, okay. So Trijata came and told that just now I had a dream. In my dream I saw Ram, Lakshman coming on on white elephants, wearing white dress, and they rescued Sita Devi. They all were going to Ayodhya, and I also saw our king Ravana. He was sitting on a donkey, bathed with oil, some kind of red cosmetics he was there, red sandalwood paste all over his body. He looked so heinous. So I saw this kind of dream. Definitely I am sure that Ram will come and rescue Sita Devi and kill Ravana. This is what my dream says. Early morning dreams are truthful. So then all the demons became very fearful and they ran away. And Trijata kind of chased them away. And Trijata little reassured and encouraged Sita Devi. And all of them cleared that place and Sita Devi was finally alone under that tree, Ashoka tree. So Sita Devi broke into tears and she found some little hope in the words of Trijata. At the same time, she was very hopeless. She had no clue, will Ram be able to come here or not? So she took her own hair and wanted to hang herself and kill herself. So at that time, meanwhile, Hanumanji noticed that and Hanumanji slowly started singing about Lord Ramachandra. He started glorifying the pastimes, Nama, Rupa, Guna, Leela of Lord Ramachandra, and Sita's attention diverted to that baby monkey who is just glorifying Lord Ram. So Hanumanji, while singing the holy names of Lord Ramachandra and singing all his pastimes, slowly he came closer to Sita Devi. And Sita Devi became so attracted to this monkey, small monkey, and she started listening to him. And Hanumanji continued and he is coming closer and Sita Devi immediately became alarmed. Oh, I have become so foolish. I have been tricked by you. You are a demon. Just because I am not submitting to you, you are coming in the form of a monkey and you are playing a new trick to attract my attention by glorifying Lord Ram. So she suspected that she must be demon, he must be a demon, Hanumanji must be a demon, or Ravana must have come in disguise. Hanumanji was considering all this, he was anticipating, but Hanumanji tried to convince her and he spoke so many pastimes, rare pastimes of Lord Ramachandra, and finally Sita Devi trusted Hanumanji. And Hanumanji also gave that ring of Lord Ramachandra to Sita Devi, and then that made Sita Devi so grateful and she broke into tears out of ecstasy, and she spoke a lot of her pastimes, confidential pastimes with Lord Ramachandra to Hanumanji, and Hanumanji was hearing all that, and Hanumanji being a confidential associate of Lord Ram, he was able to even hear intimate pastimes of Ram and Sita there. Okay, but it's just a matter of duty. They had to express themselves like that. So Sita feels eternally indebted to Hanumanji for coming there and speaking the news of Lord Ramachandra. Then Sita gave her gift to Lord Ramachandra and also gave her message. And repeatedly she was saying, I am waiting for Ram to come and rescue me, please inform him. Repeatedly she was saying. So, and she also remembered that Kakasur's story. I will not speak that, we have only 10 minutes. So, then Hanumanji proposed that Sita Devi, I will take you now. Just like I crossed across this ocean, you just sit on my back and I will take you across this ocean. You will just see Lord Ramachandra within few minutes. Don't worry, you just come on my back. Then Sita Devi said, no, how can I touch another man? I cannot touch another man. When Ravana just kidnapped me, I had no option. So he touched me. Actually, Ravana did not touch. Ravana only abducted Maya Sita, not the original Sita. Original Sita is very safely kept in the protection of Agni, that all of us know. But here Sita Devi says, no, I cannot come with you, I cannot touch another man. But the real reason is that Hanumanji is like son. Mother can touch son. There's no objection there. But here Sita Devi felt that if Hanumanji comes and takes me away, takes me to Ram, then what will happen to Ram's glory? If Ram comes and defeats and kills Ravana, punishes Ravana and then takes me, it will be like befitting his position as a great king, someone who is coming from the Ikshvaku dynasty, right? So it will cause some bad reputation to Lord Ramachandra if I go with Hanumanji. Although I understand that Hanumanji is capable, still Hanumanji, I should not be going with Hanuman. And as I said some time back, Sita kind of doubted Hanumanji also. Earlier he doubted his intentions, now she doubted his capability. Okay, will you be able to take me across? Will you be able to safely carry me? Then later she also said, she doubted the army. She said, somehow you have come, you are very powerful, Hanumanji shows his great power. You are powerful, you have come here, but will other monkeys cross this ocean? How will they come here? Then Hanumanji said, my dear mother, don't worry. All the monkeys in Sugriva's army are either more powerful than me or equal to me. So I am just a messenger, I have come here as a messenger. Certainly messenger must be very weak, I am very weak, don't worry, but there are many more powerful people, they can easily cross the ocean. So the same Hanumanji who boasted about himself to encourage all the monkeys on the other side of the ocean, he started taking a low profile and kind of demeaned himself in front of Sita Devi to encourage her. So he is not interested in boasting or demeaning himself. He did not have superiority complex or inferiority complex. He just wanted to encourage the monkeys on the other side and Sita Devi on this side. Right? So then finally Sita did not agree to come, and Hanumanji also understood her real intentions, and Hanumanji thought, okay, let me do some extra service. I found Sita, but that's not sufficient. I should do some extra service. So he wanted to ascertain the true strength of Rakshasas, so he started destroying Ashoka Vatika. So that Ashoka Vatika has already become Shoka Vatika by Sita's lamentation. Okay. But now it has become like a crematorium by the destruction caused by Hanumanji. So that Ashoka Vatika is supposed to be very favorite garden of Ravana, and it is supposed to give him so much of happiness, but because he brought Sita and kept her there, because of her lamentation, the garden's charm has gone already. Because of the sinful, lusty desires of Ravana, already the Ashoka Vatika's charm is gone, and now Hanumanji is destroying it further. So it's a long fight. Then finally, to keep things short, Hanumanji killed several Rakshasas, and Ravana sends Indrajit to capture this monkey. Indrajit releases Brahmastra. Again, Brahma came into picture. Hanumanji wanted to offer obeisances to Brahma and then take a low profile in front of Brahma. And Indrajit captivates Hanumanji with Brahmastra and brings him in front of Ravana. So Ravana asks him, who are you, monkey? Then Hanumanji speaks many things and he gives him counseling. He said, oh, you should return Sita Devi respectfully, then you can save your kingdom, you can save your life, you can save the Rakshasa dynasty, you can save your Lanka city. So otherwise, definitely my Lord will come and destroy you. So Hanumanji's good advice was not palatable to Ravana. Ravana ordered his soldiers, kill this monkey, proud monkey, he is speaking so many things, he is giving me advice. Then Vibhishan came and said, no, how can you kill a messenger? Then Ravana somehow, okay fine, we'll not kill him, but we'll burn his tail. We'll burn his tail because tail is the favorite bodily limb of a monkey. So we'll have to burn it. So then Hanumanji, with that burnt tail, he burnt the whole Lanka except Vibhishana's palace. Okay. So Sita Devi offered prayer to Agni Dev. She said that Agni, please don't cause any harm to Hanumanji. May you be cool. So Hanumanji was holding that cool fire and then burning the whole city of Lanka. So then nothing happened to him. And after that Hanumanji became very unhappy. I have burned the whole Lanka. What happened to Sita Devi? If Sita Devi burnt in that Lanka, what would have happened? Earlier, see, a lot of speculations and anxieties are also presented in Ramayana. So earlier Hanumanji was thinking, did Sita come to Lanka? While bringing Sita Devi to Lanka, did Ravana kill her? Or while they were crossing this ocean, did Sita fall into the ocean? Or after coming here, because Sita is not agreeing to his proposal, did Ravana eat her? So all these were speculations of Hanumanji. So now he became very anxious, and Hanumanji burnt Lanka, right? So Sita Devi, what happened to Sita Devi? He was thinking, and he went and he found Sita Devi very safe. Then he said, okay, fine, no problem. Sita Devi was worried about Hanumanji, and Hanumanji also was worried about Sita Devi, and both are safe. And Hanumanji came back on this shore of the ocean. So the monkeys celebrated the victory of Hanumanji, and monkeys were actually very despondent. But finally Hanumanji came and informed the news, and they all became very happy. So they praised Hanumanji, they celebrated Hanumanji's success, and they entered some garden and they kind of destroyed that garden. Basically they were in happiness, they were doing so many things. Okay. So Sugriva heard about this news from a distance, and he understood that all the monkeys are very joyful, so definitely they must have found Sita. Hanumanji must have found Sita. Then Hanumanji came and told Lord Ramachandra, I found Sita Devi. Sita found I, right? Sita found I. So he encouraged Lord Ramachandra. So Hanumanji is that servant, that devotee who helped God. So who completely pleased the Lord. Yasya prasadat bhagavat prasado. You see, he is the best servant. He accomplished the duty more than what is entrusted to him. He was sent to find Sita Devi, but he did little more also, extra service. So a mediocre servant is one who never attempts to do anything more than what is told. And a worst servant does not even do what is told to him. But the best servant is one who understands the mood of the master and does more service than what is just told to him. Okay. So Hanumanji is proved to be the best servant and the hero of Sundara Khanda. Now Acharyas give a very beautiful import to this whole episode, that Sita Devi became allured by that golden deer, and that represents a conditioned soul's getting attracted to something material enjoyment in this world and getting distracted from bhakti. So a sadhaka may be nicely practicing devotional service, but sometimes sadhakas may get attracted to some material enjoyment and get distracted from bhakti. Okay. So that keeps the conditioned soul in this material world. Okay, in this material world. But when the soul hankers for the company of the Lord, when the soul again desires for the company of the Lord, reunite with the Lord, then the Lord kindly tries to reclaim that soul. So the best way of reclaiming happens by sending a representative called Guru. So Hanumanji is representing that Guru. So Hanumanji goes to Lanka, and what does Guru do first? He first glorifies the Lord. He teaches holy name. Okay. So Guru, Hanumanji glorified the holy names of Lord Ramachandra and attracted the attention of Sita Devi. And Sita Devi became attracted to these holy names, and Hanumanji spoke a lot of Rama Katha to Sita Devi, and then Lord Ramachandra personally came and reclaimed Sita Devi. So here it's a combination of Sita Devi's eagerness to come back to Lord Ramachandra and Ram's eagerness to reclaim her and Hanumanji's help in this whole thing. Similarly, when a devotee gets distracted from spiritual life and he again wants to come back under the shelter of the Lord, so the Lord will reclaim that devotee with the help of a Guru. So this is what great Acharyas bring out from this beautiful episode of Lord Ramachandra's trying to reclaim Sita Devi, the reunion of Sita and Ram. So it's 9:30 exactly. We'll complete here. Thank you very much. Sri Sundara Khanda ki jai, Valmiki Ramayana ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.